Okay, let's jump right in. If your age is between 50 to 80 and you still do these 6 things, well, you're truly one of a kind. Dr. William Lee's groundbreaking research reveals exactly what these specific habits are. So today, in this explainer, we're going to map out how these 6 things can drastically extend your active, independent years. Let's get to it. For decades, the medical establishment has been feeding us this completely flawed advice to just slow down and accept natural decline. You know the drill. Take it easy, act your age. Honestly, the latest longevity research proves that this is absolutely the worst advice you could possibly take. It's an outdated model, and it effectively trains your body to just give up its functional capacity way earlier than necessary. So we really have to ask ourselves, is losing our independence actually inevitable? Or is there a strategic, proven way to keep our strength, our balance, and our minds sharp well into our 80s? Well, the science says a steep decline isn't mandatory at all. It's mostly the result of abandoning the daily habits that tell our bodies, hey, we still need you to perform. To put this into perspective, researchers at the Stanford Center on Longevity tracked this for 12 years, and they found a staggering 61% difference. You are literally 61% less likely to experience accelerated functional decline if you adopt just 4 of the daily habits we're counting down today. 61%! That's the difference between living life completely on your own terms and being forced onto someone else's schedule in an assisted living facility. Starting our countdown at number 6, strategic hydration. Now, casual water drinking, yeah, that just won't cut it anymore. See, unlike when you're 45, by age 75, your kidneys become a bit like a desert cactus. They lose about 40% of their filtering efficiency. And to make matters worse, your biological thirst signals get dangerously blunted. You could literally be chronically dehydrated, starving your brain and muscles of oxygen-rich blood, and not even feel thirsty. Crazy, right? You can actually see the real-world impact of this chronic mild dehydration in Dr. Lee's 81-year-old patient, Margaret. She suffered from severe afternoon brain fog and dizziness. She literally described it as feeling like her thinking was wrapped in cotton. She wasn't passing out from dehydration or anything. She was just constantly running a quart low. But once she fixed her hydration timing, that cotton completely lifted. So how do we fix it? Here is Dr. Lee's synergy tip, and doing this every single morning is a total game changer. Step 1, drink 12 to 16 ounces of water right when you wake up, because your overnight fluid deficit is actually 30% higher as you age. But step 2 is where the magic happens. Add a tiny pinch of high-quality sea salt. Because aging kidneys struggle to hold on to sodium, this little addition makes sure the water actually absorbs right into your cells instead of just passing straight through you. All right, let's move to habit number 5, resistance-based movement. What we're fighting here is a dangerous biological condition called anabolic resistance. Basically, this forces your aging muscles to require way more intentional stimulation just to avoid severe muscle loss, known as sarcopenia. Your muscles aren't getting lazy. It's just that their cellular receivers are getting much harder to activate. To combat this, you absolutely do not need to go sling heavy gym weights. You just need 2 to 3 short, 20 to 30-minute sessions a week of consistent banded resistance. That's enough to trigger those large muscle groups. And here's the synergy tip. You've got to follow that movement immediately with a critical protein intake. Because you're fighting anabolic resistance, your window for muscle repair is much shorter after 70. That 30-minute post-workout window, completely no-negotiable. Hitting habit number 4, maintaining a consistent sleep schedule. This one comes with a pretty terrifying statistic. There is a massive 68% higher accumulation of Alzheimer's-associated amyloid plaques in older adults who have disrupted sleep patterns. Fragmented sleep isn't just making you groggy. It's actively blocking your brain's nightly cleaning cycle, allowing these toxic proteins to literally gunk up your neural pathways. Now, because your brain naturally produces about 70% less melatonin as you age, and slow-wave sleep drops off drastically, you have to actively engineer your sleep. Keep a strict 30-minute bedtime window and cool your room down to between 65 and 68 degrees. But the real lifesaver here, step 3, combine that strict sleep hygiene with 10 minutes of slow diaphragmatic breathing. It acts like a biological switch, lowering your nighttime cortisol by 22% and forcing your brain to that deep plaque-clearing sleep. Okay, let's dive right into habit number 3, which totally busts an incredibly dangerous nutritional myth. Remember that anabolic resistance we just talked about? Well, because of it, a 75-year-old actually requires 50 to 75% more dietary protein per pound than a healthy 30-year-old just to maintain the exact same muscle mass. Thinking you need less food and less protein as you get older, that is a fast track to frailty. The results of ignoring this are pretty devastating for sure, but the results of fixing it feel completely miraculous. Take another one of Dr. Lee's patients, 78-year-old James. He was dealing with an alarming drop in grip strength and was losing muscle fast. By simply eating 25 to 35 grams of distributed protein per meal, he regained 11 pounds of lean mass. He proudly told his doctor he carried all of his own groceries from the car for the first time in 2 years. That is true functional independence.
So how do we nail this habit? Distributing the protein evenly across your 3 meals is mandatory. An aging body just can't process a giant 16-ounce steak all at once. Your absorption maxes out at about 35 to 40 grams per sitting. Oh, and don't miss the synergy tip here. Pair that protein with a source of vitamin C, like bell peppers or lemon juice. It synthesizes the collagen you need to hold your joints and skin together, while the protein builds up the underlying muscle. Moving on to habit number 2, and honestly, we're uncovering a massive physiological danger here. This isn't just about feeling a little lonely from time to time. Lacking daily, intentional social engagement damages your cardiovascular and immune systems as aggressively as a pack-a-day smoking habit. Seriously, that's a hard medical fact. Chronic isolation is as deadly to an aging body as smoking 15 cigarettes every single day. Consider 83-year-old Dorothy. She was declining super rapidly in her memory and focus after losing her husband. Her doctor didn't just throw a new drug at her. Instead, they replaced her passive screen time with an active, daily social schedule. This triggered a massive oxytocin release, which suppressed her stress cortisol and quite literally preserved her neural pathways. Her cognitive scores actually returned to near baseline in just 8 months. So the crucial point here is how you engage. Step 1 is active, meaningful in-person interaction. We're talking laughing, debating, sharing, not just passively sitting next to someone watching a screen. And the synergy tip? It's remarkable. If you mix this active socialization with light physical movement, say a gentle walk with a friend, it acts like a massive fertilizer for your brain cells, producing a huge surge in BDNF, or brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And that brings us to the climax. Habit number 1. Maintained by fewer than 12% of seniors, it's universally considered the most underutilized longevity intervention out there. It's daily, purposeful cognitive challenge. Now, I'm not talking about doing a daily crossword puzzle you already know how to do. I mean forcing your brain into a state of productive discomfort every single day by learning something genuinely, frustratingly new. When you do this, you build what neurologists call cognitive reserve. Think of it as your brain's resilience buffer. It's basically like adding RAM to a computer so it can absorb age-related structural damage without ever showing external symptoms of decline. Naturally, your brain wants to stick to the familiar to save energy, but you have to actively fight that instinct if you want to build this reserve up. The data backing this up is just phenomenal. A massive study out of the University of Edinburgh showed that just 30 minutes of novel learning a day yields some staggering neuroplasticity results. We're talking about a 47% slower rate of physical brain atrophy and a 38% drop in dementia diagnosis. This completely shatters the myth that aging brains can't form new structural connections. They absolutely can. They just demand the right stimulus. Look at the power of this stimulus for Robert. At 79, he was really struggling with his memory, so he took up oil painting. For him, this was an entirely new, complex, and difficult skill. That daily struggle provided the exact neurological resistance training his brain needed. After 18 months, clinical assessments showed active improvement across 3 out of 5 cognitive domains, proving that cognitive improvement, not just maintenance, is entirely possible at 79. To make this work for you, you gotta follow a specific blueprint. Choose one new skill every 3 to 4 months. And you can't just passively watch a tutorial. You have to spend 20 to 30 minutes a day actively struggling through it. That productive discomfort is exactly where the magic happens. Here's your synergy tip. Combine this challenge with omega-3 DHA, like from fatty fish or supplements. It gives your brain the literal structural fat it needs to actually lock in the benefits of what you're learning. So, as we wrap up this explainer, let's look at how all this builds into an entirely new paradigm. Carrying your own groceries, driving your car, staying mentally sharp, it isn't about desperately trying to turn back the clock, because aging isn't a countdown, it's a continuation. It's about leveraging your body's incredibly stubborn capacity for resilience to make the extraordinary possible with the time you have left. So I turn the floor over to you. Which of these 6 habits are you going to start building today? I want to hear from you down in the comments. Tell me your age, tell me which habit you're already the strongest in, and tell me which one you're going to aggressively start building today so you remain truly one of a kind. Thanks so much for learning with me in this explainer, and remember, you're absolutely worth the effort.